Well, I guess I should look at my comments and see what's going on this video since, you know, it's at 1,343 views for whatever fucking reason, but let's go look at some comments. First one looks okay, let's see. That's reasonable, okay. That one's reasonable. Wait, what the fuck is this? Wait, what? No. No! No! Really that long? What are you doing? Oh. Oh, I'm gonna die. How's it going, guys? I thought I'd make another video because people liked the first one a lot. And there was a lot of, like I said, the iRacing White Knights came out and made sure to make their presence known, which, within my comments of my video is pretty large. There's not a lot of disparaging comments, though, I will give you that. But there's a lot of people saying, well, here's the problem with what you said, and then they're just rambling until they think they get to a point. I'll go over all those comments at a later date, most likely if I make another video about this topic. I'm not entirely sure I will or not, but they showed up and they made their voices heard. So I'm going to be explaining, which nobody has ever done before, explaining why this is so common within the iRacing community. Austin Ognoski made a video earlier today, which basically was showing comments from my video and showing the similarities between the Star Citizen community and the NASCAR iRacing community, which are very similar. If you don't explain your opinion in a friendly way, then you just get shit down your neck about it, which is unfortunate, and it really sucks that it has to be this way, but it all falls onto the iRacing marketing system. Their marketing team is fantastic, they have been for years, and there's for one major reason why it is. Pushing the narrative as far as it could have gone until they abandoned it. So now people don't even really remember it too much anymore. But iRacing's marketing scheme from about 2008 onwards until about 2015 was iRacing was the most realistic simulator in the world. If you go into the Wayback Machine, you can find a lot of this rhetoric everywhere, all over the website. Nowadays, it's pretty cut thin. They want to push the esports more, which they are doing. We're going to be talking about this whole thing because it's important. So I've got a list system once again, which is, number one, the iRacing marketing scheme is to blame for this whole outbreak of drama that is surrounding iRacing. And the main reason is there is something called the illusory truth effect. And if you've never heard about it before, you should Google it, but I'm going to give you the bite-sized version. If you say something over and over and over again, and really never change the premise. So for iRacing, the most realistic simulator, we use real data. You know, this is the most realistic simulator in the world. In some cases, they were saying. This is the illusory truth effect, where it is said over and over and over again to the point where you can't avoid it. To the point where it even becomes overbearing and annoying to hear. But iRacing did a fantastic job with the marketing, which was pound it home. And this is the illusory truth effect, because it gets to the point where it becomes reality and truth to you. It becomes so usual to the rhetoric that goes along with whatever you're talking about using this truth effect that you begin to believe it. And this is the main issue with what's going on with iRacing right now, is that now they're being told by real-life race car drivers in most cases that this is not correct. It's been like this for years. It's just, it's more mainstream now, because there's way more drivers doing this, and some are more outspoken than others. But number two is the point that I just glossed upon, which was proven to be false sense of reality, especially now, which is true. Especially now, we are being told by real-life drivers that this is not completely accurate, and why should I care? And it's true. Why should they care if it's not completely accurate? It always goes back to iRacing's marketing scheme, and this is why people are so cuckoo loco bananas about it, where if somebody talks shit about the game, or even just says, hey, listen, this isn't exactly like real life, which it never can be, but some people are saying that it's not even close. the marketing scheme comes back into their head, and the illusory truth effect starts kicking in, where people are like, whoa, no, it has to be realistic. They said it is. No, it doesn't have to be. It isn't. And it's unfortunate. It would be cool if it was, but it isn't. And you have to take that as reality now, because that is the reality of the situation. There's no other way to go around it. This is the reality now. It is being shown that iRacing's marketing scheme was successful for 11 years or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's been a long time, is all I know. It's been extremely successful until it was proven to be false by multiple driver accounts that it is not correct. That doesn't mean the whole game is incorrect, but the most popular cars, the biggest sports in motorsports for oval racing specifically, and then road racing for IndyCar, aside from F1, that this game is inaccurate. Those cars are inaccurate. You have to take this as reality. There's too many accounts now. And number 3, overbearing if you really pay attention to it, which is super true. The iRacing marketing system was very overbearing. It made you think, why are they pushing this narrative so hard? Other than trying to make you believe it under false pretenses, which is not, you know, it's an assessment of what I think. You can have your own different opinion if you're wanting to. That's okay with me. But for me personally, it makes me think, are they just putting this into my head so that I am more than likely going to buy the product? That I am more than likely going to use the product because they're saying it's super realistic and they have these drivers accounting for it. Which now, in 2020, there's a lot of these drivers that are saying, well, no, this isn't right. And it's like, they weren't lying to us. They were just wrong. But the reaction that they're having is to back up and box in, because they know that it's a problem. If people were to really think about this, they would understand that, oh, the marketing scheme was super overbearing and it was wrong. And now we're starting to learn about it. Will people start leaving? Will people start canceling their subscriptions? Probably not. But it is a huge issue, and that's why they're, you know, going to IndyCar officials and being like, shut the fuck up, because they don't want to have that happen. But people are starting to realize it. And number 4, and the final point, is that this is the main source of criticism for iRacing.com, which it really is. The marketing scheme that was used was probably not the best one to use. In terms of, if there were enough drivers on here that, you know, really felt like this was wrong, then they would basically, you know, it would ruin their shit. This is the source of criticism. This is the main critical aspect of this whole thing. It always comes back to the marketing scheme because everybody has bought into it. Incorrectly or correctly, I'm not entirely sure. Not everything can be broken on the game, but the main popular cars seem to be, which they get real life data and then somehow it turns out to be a flop. And it's like, how do you manage to do it? Especially with all these drivers now trying to give input and then iRacing's immediately saying, shut up. That should really tell you that they aren't super serious about the whole realistic aspect. They don't really care, and they don't want the criticism here. They don't want to hear it. And it's like, if you're really striving for realism, you would allow these drivers to say what they need to say, and so you can fix it. I said it in the original video. If there was any other game, R Factor, AMS, you would have Kunos. Like, these guys would kill to have this many real life drivers on their video game, promoting their video game, and promoting it on the highest stage that you can, television. And then they're telling them to button their lip instead of actually telling them it doesn't matter if it's a public opinion or not. It really doesn't. It makes no difference. Because the marketing scheme is still always going to work. It really is. At the end of the day, this will all blow over like nothing happened. People are going to remember it, but they're not going to care because maybe iRacing will fix it. That's entirely possible. But the point is that the iRacing marketing scheme is 95% the reason of most criticism that comes to the game. And rightfully so, especially now that we are seeing real-life drivers say, hey, what's going on here? This doesn't seem right. Something's weird here. I'm telling you, think about any single car, any single track that may have been messed up, car that may have been messed up, anything. It always comes back to the marketing scheme that they originally had, which now they have completely abandoned, and they are going towards the esports marketing, which is going fairly well, as you can see. Real-life drivers are using it. This pandemic was the best thing that's ever happened to iRacing, and also could be the worst thing that ever happened to iRacing if they were to really screw this up. Hopefully they don't. People really think I hate this game, like, with a, with a real hatred. And it's like, sometimes I do. Sometimes I think it's really wrong and really broken, and it doesn't feel good to me. But I do, at the end of the day, care about the product. I wouldn't make videos like this saying, hey, what's the deal? Fix it. If I didn't like it, I have a subscription. Get it through your head. I don't hate the game. I just don't like how it's run or operated or managed. Does that make me a terrible person? And does that make all of my opinions invalid? No. So don't come to this video immediately screaming in the comments, because it makes no difference. It makes no sense. All you're doing is showing the exact thing that I've been trying to prove to years to people, which is the marketing scheme went too far, people bought into it too hard, and now it's being challenged. The game is being challenged, which goes along with the marketing scheme as well, and it's flopping. Will they fix it? I don't know. Can they? Certainly. But always remember this situation when it comes to talking about this game, because this is the main issue. If there's a more important video about iRacing that's ever been made, I don't think there is. If you really think about the iRacing marketing scheme, try to think about it in your head. Was that the main thing that you grasped onto the first time that you saw the game or heard about it? 100%, and you can't lie to me and say that it wasn't.